But first of all, I want to say a few words about the MIT Media Lab, which is where I have been working in the past 7 years. And this place is a very interdisciplinary research lab. So there are research group, about 20-something of them, and they range from design to computer science to neuroscience, biology. And we all come together to try out different scenarios of the future and to invent the future. And this is my research group. It's called the Responsive Environments Group. And a lot of the projects we do is really to really create a scenario that you can experience, you can touch, and then have a conversation around it to see how it will impact our lives. So for example, here, a wearable lighting, this is one of my projects, or smarter tools that can help us using digital fabrication, but also have self-expression, or wearable robots that can climb on your body and take measurements of your physiological signals, or visualizing sensor data. And in the project up there is a large sensor network that was installed in a cranberry farm that retired, and it's documenting the restoration project in that farm and see how the landscape changes over time. So there's a big diversity of projects, and that's only in my research group. But they all follow kind of a philosophy, and the philosophy is that we see sensors and sensor network computers as extension of our nervous system into our surroundings that would enable new kinds of interactions with our surroundings. All right. Learn how to use technology. Here we go. So my work, one back, specifically is about the mediation between sensors, computers, and the human and the building. So how can we understand a person's need in a building better and create an environment that can adapt to that need and be more efficient, more intelligent? And I want to show you an older project. This is one of the projects I've began with at the Media Lab, and it's about allowing the system to see what we see using either a light sensor or a camera. And here you can see how the lighting in the space really adapts to the situation that I'm in. And the sensor sees even more. It actually sees an invisible signal that each light source is sending through very high frequency pulses that my eyes don't see. So the sensor knows which light is contributing to my area of interest. And that way we can save a lot of power. We don't have to have all the lights on all the time, but it automatically adapts to where the person's looking and what they're doing. Yeah. Yep. And this is 5 years later. Now I'm wearing a more stylish camera on my head. The technology has caught up. And here you can see even more things changing. Not only just the light brightness, but also the direction, whether it's focusing onto the table, and also the color is changing the ambience to a more pleasant one. Once I'm taking a break here, having a phone call. But when I go back to focus on my task, the light follows and becomes more focused as well. And here I'm using not just a light sensor, but also motion sensors and the microphone to understand my context, what I'm doing. A colleague comes. Turns into a concert hall. Also sensor networks, we have done studies about them. So with these very low-cost sensors, we can cover a large area. Just install each of them on a different lamp. And here you can see an open plan office space. This space is where I work. And with the sensor data and the transition probability, so how likely a person is walking from this sensor to that sensor, we can understand not only the physical barriers, where there are walls you can pass, but we can also understand the social barriers. So the colors which are derived from the data, they actually match 3 research groups that work in the space and a shared area in the center. So there is much we can learn from the data, and we can use them to automatically zone the lighting or automatically turn on off lighting, or even other applications that your HR might have in mind. Now I had talked a lot about sensors, but what are actually the things we can change in the environment to have a positive impact on the people working there? Let's see. So light is an important factor. Our body evolves in a steadily changing environment. The the rhythm of day and night. And we are just at the beginning understanding how light influences circadian rhythm. Last year's Nobel Prize for Medicine actually went to someone who was working, or 3 researchers who are working on circadian rhythm. But besides circadian rhythm, light also has acute alertness and alertness that can really change how we pay attention. It has also effect on mood and behavior. We all know this if you have used a candlelight dinner. That's exactly what I'm talking about. But also the environment, more than that, we have a different architecture, different kind of landscapes, the ceiling height. All of that has really influence on our cognition. Let's just talk about sound, for example. So sound, noise can take mental resources away from us, not just only auditory sound. Also visual sound. So if we close our eyes, we can actually remember things better. But not all noise is bad. So certain kind of noise, for example, the sound of a coffee shop, actually has shown to help people to be better at creative thinking. So how is that? Sometimes sound keeps us motivated. So also other kind of sounds, nature sounds, help us to restore better from stressful situation. So depending what we plan to do in the office or at home, different conditions really can help us to perform differently. And this is a vision I want to show you that we developed based on all this evidence from environmental research. With no further introduction, I just want to show you the video. There you go. I guess there is no sound. So this is a prototype we created in our lab space. It can measure different things, your facial expression, your gaze direction. It can also measure your skin conductance, so basically how much you sweat, how stressed you are, your heart rate, your respiration rate, your posture, many different features. Your facial expression. And it also has many different outputs, a lighting network of 20 light sources, projection, and ambisonic sound that keeps the spatial quality of the sound. And we created different environments in this space inspired by existing environments. And we don't see the light or sound as separate things, but create really a combination or composition of them. And here there are nature scenes, for example, but also many others. In total, over 30 scenes we have created by recording our own videos, but also inspired by other nature photography. So this space, this is a view from the Media Lab where I actually work. And we do experiments in this space to understand how people actually respond to this, and bear with me in this one. And so we do ask people how they feel, but we also measure their physiological responses from their signals. And here is heart rate variability. It's how much your heart rate changes. And this heart rate variability, when it's low, it indicates normally a stressed situation. So here you can say we send a person in the room, let them do a GRE reading comprehension test, which is very stressful. So immediately during this reading test, their heart rate variability goes low. But after that, they take a break in the space and they recover from the stressful situation. But they recover differently. So you can see the green line, the forest scene, they recover much faster than this neutral, this office without any scenes projected on it, which is the black line. So we can really measure how people respond to the environment, not just in their heart rate variability, but also their gaze direction, also their facial expression. And using this data, we can understand for you personally how this environment has influenced you. And we're all different. One size doesn't fit all. So here is a system that then automates the change of the environment based on your physiological signals. So here you can see me, I'm taking a phone call, I'm not very focused, I'm not very restored, but when I'm taking a break, I'm more restored. The environment takes me to a forest scene, and I start drawing, I get more focused again, and the environment changes back into the library scene. So this is a possible scenario of how our environment could interact with us in the future. One thing we know for sure that we do spend a lot of time at work, and we go through many different situations at work throughout the day, and it will become even more fast-paced and even more stressful in the future. And in the last decade, there has been really a decline of workplace satisfaction in the US, and much of it's because our ways of work has changed, our tools has become different, and we have more mobility and more flexibility that computer has enabled us to have. And this is changing also the work culture into a more mobile one. So we can use computers and data and sensors to better understand how we work and also improve the environment to match this change of our work requirements. And as a last look, I want to take you back to this place. I wish my office was here. And so I envision a future where we could record our favorite environments, our childhood hideaways, our most beautiful vacation memories, and take it with us in our pockets, like how we consume music today, and how we share it with each other, and thereby share our experience of the world with each other. And this could be a possibility of recreating this kind of experiences back at home or at work. And I want to leave you with this quote. We shape our buildings, and thereafter they shape us. And we can change buildings to technology. We shape our technology, and thereafter we shape us. And so we have to be aware that we are already changing our environment and how we interact with our environment through our technologies. And let's be aware to choose the ones that really help us to be better and more healthy and happier people. So thank you very much.